DC fans have gone crazy, and I think part of the reason is because the CW shows have not lived up to any sort of standard that people want their DC shows to look like, feel like, stories to go with, and they are just subpar in every aspect of the word. They're not very good, and sometimes they visually can look pretty neat, but most of the times the stories are too light and lack any real weight to them, plus the acting is just ugh. So this has made a lot of DC fans focus on the Snyder Cut. This thing will not die. Every time I go into Twitter, there is a new post about the Snyder Cut, Justice League Snyder Cut. If you don't know what the Justice League Snyder Cut is, it is the original cut of what people say is the original vision of Justice League, which is entirely Zack Snyder before they were changed because of unfortunate circumstances, before the movie was changed into what it is now, a more lighthearted and terrible attempt to pander to DC fans by showing them something that they think would remind them of Marvel, and unfortunately it fell flat. Justice League is not good, and unfortunately I don't see any version of that movie being good. I think that if you take away some of the campiness, some of the stuff that people didn't really like the CGI mustache, if you take away some of those things, then the movie becomes better. But the movie has a serious tone problem. That's what the Snyder Cut, people think that that's going to make the movie a lot better, but there are so many other problems that the Justice League movie has that the Snyder Cut I don't see fixing at all. I mean, you have terrible CGI with the evil villain, an evil villain that nobody gives a shit about, nobody cares, and it's almost like you are falling asleep to him talking. Like, his voice is very, very aggravating, and he is not interesting in the slightest. Anything that they thought was cool about the Amazons from Wonder Woman, anything you thought was cool about the Amazons from Wonder Woman, well, there is nothing of that to be found here. The Amazons are basically run over by this guy and his technology. They barely put up a fight, and the CGI just makes everything worse because it's terrible. And then the final nail in the coffin, not including everything else that went wrong with it, is the fact that they decided to make Batman goofy. They made Batman silly. They made Batman, which was the best part, in my opinion, of Batman vs. Superman. They made him into a comedic character in Justice League to bring in the lulz, to bring in those supposed fans that think Marvel movies are only comedic and that's the only reason you really like them. Marvel movies have a lot of comedy in them, but they also have weight, and the way that they are directed and made are almost uncomparable. Especially nothing with Justice League or anything with DC at this point in time. Maybe Wonder Woman is the only one that gotten close, but they still faltered with mustachioed villain at the very end, which I don't know what their deal is with mustaches, but they need to fix that. So even if you fix the tone of Justice League and make it dark and gritty just like Zack Snyder wanted it, it would probably fit better with Batman vs. Superman, but it would not make it a good movie. You would have to change everything and rewrite everything, change the villain. Hell, honestly, I would say just scrap Justice League, and this movie should have been something with Batman and Wonder Woman, a Batman-Wonder Woman team up where they try to resurrect Superman, make that the entire plot of the movie. That would be a much better movie in my opinion than having Superman's revival be a subplot. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the Snyder Cut. I don't think making a Batman vs. Superman Part 2 is going to be fixing Justice League at all. I think that there are a lot more issues going on with Justice League that need to be addressed. But those are my thoughts on the Snyder Cut. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. This is going to be Nerdscape signing off. Take care, guys.